Hey guys, the second game for the South African Preparation Series Week 1 is the Stormers versus the Cheetahs, and it is going to be quite a big one. If we do look at the match, it is going to be the first time the Stormers do play at their new home, Cape Town Stadium. It's going to be quite a big day because it's like a new era that they are stepping into. And if you do look at the two squads, they are basically a new team for the Stormers as well. They picked a lot of youngsters. The bigger unions do tend to kind of pick their youngsters for this tournament. The Cheetahs, they have a tried and settled combination there with a pretty much their first XV that they did pick. So going to the front rows, Ali Vermaak, Ntubeni and Fushia. Fushia and Vermaak has started a couple of games with the likes of other bigger props where Malherbe or Kitshoff usually started, but now they are in the starting helms as props. They are good props as well, so big game for them up against Arnold and then Ferreira. Ferreira moving from the Kings to the Cheetahs in the off season. Pretty big signing for them, and this guy looks pretty fit. I don't know if you guys have seen his Instagram in a while, but he looks fit as a fiddle. Then we get to the number twos, like I said, Ntubeni. He's in there, and he's more of a veteran in this side at this stage, being one of the guys that gets picked all the time. But he's a guy that gets picked more on the bench these days. So luckily for him, he's gonna get a bit of a start. Arnoldi, he's on number two for the Cheetahs, and how these two go up against each other at line-out throws is going to be important in this game. In the second rows, we find both teams as captains, with Wagner being the captain for the Cheetahs. As far as I know, he is transferring after this competition. I just can't remember now. Chris van Zyl being the captain for the Stormers. That's not the official captain taking over from Siya Kolisi. They are still playing around between him, Murat and Kitshoff. So we'll see who the captain is at the end of the day. Mayhuizen, a guy that Scotland really wants on their roster, gets a little bit of a start as well for a change. And then Bernardo, also a guy that made a move to the Cheetahs over the off-season, gets a start here. In the flankers, there's a couple of names to look out for. Ntila, a guy that moved from the Kings a while ago to the Cheetahs. Very good guy to look out for. Very movable on the park. Will steal a couple of balls. Up against Tiernison, Jason Dixon, both of them guys to look out for. But if I have to really earmark a youngster to look out for in the flankers, it is Cronje. He is a guy that I really think will have high honors one day, because he looks like he's going to be the real deal. Really hard runner with the ball, steals it as well all the time at breakdown, does the work of a flanker, hard worker, and he's still very young. At number 8, both of these guys play very similar rugby as well, with Rudolph and Augustus. Augustus apparently has a 3.5 million contract hanging in the balance of him maybe moving overseas. We'll see if that does happen, and then who takes over from him, because the Stormers have lost a couple of guys in the loose forwards now. Getting to the number 9s, Tian Meyer, he is the more experienced guy there up against Masimla, who is also quite experienced in the Stormers setup. Out of all those other players, he's one of the more experienced guys. At number 10, Reinhard Fortuin versus Voliter. Great to see Voliter get a bit of a start. He hasn't started any game so far for the Stormers, so it is good for him to get a start up against Fortuin, who's been impressive so far for the Cheetahs. If I have to say, he does look like he can cut through the line at the right time, know when to get the right decision between kicking and passing. Voliter, we haven't seen much of him, but he is a schoolboy prodigy who hasn't been used yet, so we'll see what he does. Frans Steyn, we all know what he can do. That boot of his has saved the Cheetahs a couple of times, and I can promise you the Cheetahs want revenge in this game, because if you remember correctly, the Western Province did kick them out of the Currie Cup tournament here in Bloemfontein. So big game for Frans Steyn, because he is the guy kicking to poles this weekend. Cornel Smith up against him. He's an ex-Marties player. Important game for him here. Chris Smith at number 13 for the Cheetahs, up against a more of a veteran again in Ruanel. That's the most experienced guys that I have now listed for the Stormers. Ruanel, Godlin Masimla, Van Zyl, and Ntubeni. Those are the guys that you have to look out for. They are the guys that are going to try to lead the Stormers pack this week around. For the Cheetahs out wide, Duncan Saul, a teammate of Cornell Smith actually, when they played at Marty. So good to see a little bit of a battle there. Edwin van der Merwe goes at number 14 for the Stormers. Lyland Zas also gets a bit of a rare start up against Roscoe Speckman though. And Roscoe was very dangerous in the start of that unlocked season. Got a lot of steps through. Got a few tries for himself as well. Tristan Lades at number 15. We haven't seen too much of him yet. Just a few cameos off of number 15. Blommetjies, we know what he can do. Had a silent Super Rugby Unlocked and Currie Cup season up to his standards, if I have to say so. Getting to the benches, both are pretty inexperienced. Well, there's a couple of big names for the Cheetahs there. Chad Solomons, Lions and Sandy, very inexperienced front row. We'll see how they go when in the second half, when they do come on. The Cheetahs might target that as a place where they can maybe dominate the game in the second half at the scrum, because Nchunu and Van Vieren, both of them are good scrummagers. When we get to the second rowers, it looks like Johan de Tooy might be a second row replacement this week. I haven't seen him playing there much. Adams van Ryn is on the bench as well, up against Davis. And then the big name for the Cheetahs, Ruan Pinar, is back from his injury that he sustained in the second week of the unlocked season. So he's been out for quite a while, the 36-year-old. It's good to have him back because he just brings energy to a Cheetah side. Really want to see him play. Youngsters to look out for the Stormers, Abner van Reenen, the number 10. He's still 20 years old. Interesting to see what he will do when he comes on for the 19-year-old Voliter. And then Zwellen Daba, very, very powerful runner of the ball in the centers. We'll see if he does play at 12 or 13, and then he can also play at number 15. Reino Smith, he's on the bench for the Cheetahs in the wings / fullback cover. He's also going to Italy after this little tournament, so unfortunately they did lose him, but he is an exciting talent and he can break the line anytime. Guys, if I have to my prediction, it is quite a difficult one. I haven't made it up to this point. The Cheetahs team do look stronger in my opinion, though it is in Cape Town, which is a lot of times a difficult place to go and win it. My dad would kill me for this, but I'm gonna go up against my team that I support. I'll go with the Cheetahs to win this one by 3 points. Guys, let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button, and then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.